What's up, guys? Glowing Gear Studios coming at you with a brand new sculpt. Forgive the delay. I have been a very busy bee, but now we are back on the grind, and I am very excited to show you what's in store. We have the Golem King, aka the best skin from Clash of Clans. The otherwise also known as the best game known to mankind. I know that all of you people out there are Clash lovers. So here we go. We're going to sculpt the king. Let's get right to it. Now, what do we see here? What is the general shape, the general vibe for all of these little pieces that we have? In essence, they are all cubes, at least the way that I'm approaching this. They are all cubes that have been sliced in various angles. So let me show you what I mean. This part of the forearm right here is a box that has been sliced like this, like this. There's one right here on the corner. And that is giving us the shape that we have here. Then if you were to rotate that, now imagine you're looking at it from a front view now, and you go like this, now it looks more pyramidal, and that's what these little angles are, right? And that's what we're going to be doing all over the model, right? Here we have for the head, there's a box right here, and a box right here for the jaw. This shoulder plate is also a box that has been hollowed. Let's look at it from the side view, right? So here's a box from the side. I wish that I had like a blank white space that I could work with, but look, there's a box right there from the side. We cut like this, and then we do the same thing in the middle, and then we are met with a shape that's like this, which is the shoulder plate, the shoulder plate. And for the crown, we're going to be using a cylinder that has 4 parts, right? We're going to use radial times 4. We're going to have 4 parts that are extruded. We're going to use cones that have been, let's say the voxels are going to be very, very low density, so they're automatically going to become, what's it called, a square pyramid. And then we're going to follow this this same box shape all over the place, right? Right here's, let's do the box again for the head, look for the leg, the feet. All of these that you see here, including the sword, right? There's very clearly a box that's right there. And then even here on the sword, we're just going to take a box, right? And then we're going to slice just like that, and it's going to give us that angle. This is the approach that we're going to have for the entire model, and you're going to see how straightforward this was. Obviously, it provides its unique challenges, but all in all, the entire base, besides the crown, is going to start with boxes, rectangular prisms, and what's it called? And then you see later on that we'll add the little pyramids. So let's get right to it. Let's go get sculpting, ladies and gentlemen. All right, folks. So here you have it. Let's get to the sculpt right away. Now, here's what's going to happen. As you see, as demonstrated from the blocking phase, the drawing phase, virtually the entire model is just constructed through a series of cubes, right? Cubes, rectangular prisms, everything in that regard. As of right now, you can see that the only thing that I have so far that's not a cube is the cylinder that I'm using as a placeholder for the crown. Now, also, don't be afraid. Not everything that you have here is set in stone, you know, right? So, not everything you have here is set in stone. You're going to be deleting and adding blocks and pieces all the time for all your models. So, if you just need a lot of basic shapes to just map out proportions, then you're going to be a-okay. You see here that I do this constantly when it comes to changing the proportions of the arms and the legs in general. So here, this is my initial setup. Not so bad. Has the basic idea. You see the big placeholder block that I'm using as for the shoulder pad. And now what I'm going to be doing is starting to do the chops, right? Do the cuts. So what you're going to see is all over the model, I'm just going to use the trim tool, right? You see that highlighted on the right. I use the trim tool, flatten, so on and so forth, to start cutting more or less flat edges to make it look very rock-like. So you see, let me just pause this right, hold on a minute. See, like right here, I am doing the torso, right? This is the chest area. And I just kind of, imagine if you took a rock, right? Take a IRL rock, slam it against the ground and kind of drag it and sand it in one area. You rotate that rock and then slam it again and keep doing that over and over until you get something that looks like natural decay, natural erosion. And those are the shapes that I was trying to go for. So here I accidentally voxel merged something incorrectly. Got to patch that up, but there's always a solution to every problem, right? Now, you see that I have a placeholder head, right? And you're like, this is a goofy golem. But remember, the point of the blocking phase is just to get the idea, right? We are starting off with basic shapes and refining later on. So, let's keep it going, shall we? Here we have what I believe, yeah, we're doing the legs right here. I'm doing the shin, doing the quads. And you see that I'm going back and forth constantly. Like I'm doing a bit of the arms, a bit of the legs, a bit of the knees, so on and so forth. And right now, I'm just modifying the face, making his eyes a little bit bigger. And this video is being recorded as of a week after the update that just came out where they tried to, fix up the model lighting. I think that for some of them, the models look better, like in the actual game. I think the Golem King's model, like the lighting looks better. I don't like what they did with the eyes. I like his smaller eyes in his previous model. I think it just looks a bit more intimidating. So this, my reconstruction of the model was done before the change was made. So, because it's taken me, listen, let me tell you, we have been busy bees over here. So I have not had a lot of time to record, but that is okay. We are getting to it now. And I am delivering my content to you, dear viewer. Especially if you watch this far. God bless you. That is much, much appreciated. But getting back to the sculpt, I digress. You saw that I added the little kind of divots for the jaw, right? Where I kind of give them a tooth-like structure. I don't know. I love Clash's models. They're just so, they look so satisfying. They're blocky and smooth at the same time, which doesn't really make sense when you interpret it literally, but if you just you see my vision, you understand what I'm talking about. And if we just do a quick little pause here again, here look, we have the base gauntlet shape. We're getting the fingers down. I wanted to make the gauntlet hand look considerably smoother than the non-gauntlet hand, and I captured that by making the edges of the gauntlet hand much simpler and uniform in structure than I did for the non-gauntlet hand, which looks a little bit more erratic, and you can see that here, right? So I'm just pausing, right, because I have these are pictures, right, because I forgot to do a turntable. So this is what I was met with after I did some of the structuring. I added the shoulder pauldron, and I added a little brace around his chest. So you see the general vision that I have here. You understand like what I'm going for. I added the sword. Unfortunately, that was not recorded. I would have loved to have shown you that. Using a lot of radial symmetry, right, where I just take, let's say that square like part that's right on top of the hilt. I take that, I take another long piece of rectangular prism, slice it unevenly on one side to give the shoulder, to give the sword a point, and then what you see that I'm doing here, I'm basically creating a hierarchy. So all this is extremely important for posing, where I could set the fingers to pose against the palm, which poses against the elbow, that poses against the shoulder, and that's what I'm doing here. So I'm using, I don't know who made these references that you see in the back. This guy made some awesome poses with the Golem King, and I was like, you know what, let's do something a little bit different. Let's have the same base structure, but make him look more directly at the camera, put the hand directly around the hilt. And I wound up settling for like a half imposing, half sassy pose, which I think looks kind of cool and is appropriate for the Barbarian King that would get turned into a golem. So listen, while I'm there, you have to see the vision. This is what we're met with. This is the final mesh that we're going to be working on. This is the final mesh that we're going to be painting, which I was so happy with. I think that the Clash shape and the Clash structure was captured to a T, and now I'm just playing around with the colors. Obviously, we're going to be using golds, browns, some yellows for the shoulder plate and the crown. On the head, I'm using a technique, or the eye specifically, where I basically remove all natural lighting and make it glow to, obviously make it look like an energy source. Here, this is really cool. All over the parts of the stone where you see any edges, I go over it with a nice white highlight to, again, simulate, or rather emulate that erosion that we had talked about before. Again, you take the dust, that any edge that gets exposed to, you know, the wrath of nature constantly is gonna, you know, look a little bit lighter because it has less time to age. So, you know, that's what I'm doing all over the body. And, you know, very, very soon, you're going to see that we're going to be met with a completed model, guys. Come on, how cool is that, all right? This is, I hope to make this Clash series, you know, something happen more frequently. But as it is, you know what, let's just stay with a Golem King. Obviously the best skin in the game, right? You know, I know that I said that before, but still, I mean, it's very, very clear. But now, let's get to it. We are right at the finish line. This is what the final model looks like. I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, so, not too shabby, right? Overall, I am very pleased with the way that this guy came out. Golem King, as I said before, is my favorite skin in the game, and I think that I did a decent job capturing his appearance and bringing him to life in 3D model form. So, if you guys like, you know what to do, right? You know, leave that like, comment, subscribe, that whole YouTube drill, and I appreciate your patience with me. You know, you're gonna see some really good models coming up soon, and until that time, I wish you guys a good farewell.